And as luck would have it, we came in second. And the winner of the Battle of the Bands of 1968 Cleveland Teeth Fair was Joe Walsh and the James Gang.
Alright, let the guitar nerdiness officially begin, because we're talking about this amp here from DR.Z. Now, this is my own personal amp. The guys at DR.Z sent me this amp a couple months ago to see what I thought about it and give them some feedback on it, and honestly, I liked it so much that I bought it from them. I loved it. It felt so good under my fingers. It was big sounding, 30 watts, it wasn't too loud, has a master volume, effects loop, had all the things that I wanted in a combo amp. Now, they also make a head version, but I was like, I really would like a combo if that's cool with you guys, so they sent me the combo, and this is the same one that they sent me, 3-4 months ago, whatever it was. Now, the video is going to be sponsored. I got the amp from DR.Z themselves, but Sweetwater was nice enough to step in and sponsor the video, so big ol' thank you to Sweetwater. They actually are going to carry these. They should have them all in stock now if you want to check that out. Just an awesome, awesome amp, and let's get nerdy.
So much of that, because he was really the first one then. He used my SRZ-65 on the Hell Freezes Overture, and nobody knew who DR.Z was then. In whatever it was, the early 90s, nobody knew who I was. But here's one of the biggest tours, shows happening at that time, and there's a Z amp on stage. We were, what the hell is that?
Okay, so let's talk about Joe Walsh for a second. This is an amp designed in collaboration with DR.Z and Joe Walsh. So Joe came to Z with this idea of building an amp with these Octal tubes, and Z was all for it. If you ever get to talk to Z himself, he's such a likable person. You can tell he just loves the challenge of creating this stuff. So this is actually the 4th amp that him and Joe Walsh have done together. I didn't realize that they had known each other or just been around each other for so long. As a fellow Ohio guy myself, Joe is pretty much considered royalty in Ohio. But like I said, they have the Maserati, they have the Z Plus, and the Z Master, and then now the Octal 6 is the 4th collaboration between them, and all of them sound so good. And I just love everything about this. It's pretty lightweight. Like I said, it has all the things I wanted, effects loop, master volume. It's not too loud, but it sounds really big. And honestly, as far as specs go, I'm not really the guy to come to for specs. I think that DR.Z is going to do an AMA about the amp that's probably going to answer all your spec questions, because he was telling me over the phone, and I'm just like, you can tell he's passionate about the differences in these amps. So make sure you go watch their video about it if you really want to learn the nitty-gritty stuff. But if you're just looking for an amp that has such a cool and big clean and can get dirty everything you heard in that intro was just me working the controls of the amp. There are no pedals involved in that outside of the delay. The delay is the halo from Keeley running into the effects loop, and that's it. So I'm fully aware that this is ridiculous, but I'm bypassing the speaker right now and running into my aux box, which is digitally emulating a 1x12 with mics on it. So I just don't have the capabilities of miking up a cab in here, and you know, until we move, that's just not going to change. So this is what happens when Joe Walsh reaches out to you and says, hey, I need an amp. You build him an awesome amp. And I thought I would just kind of play through a bunch of the guitars for you guys, let you hear the tones. You know, my guitar skill set is limited, to say the least, but let you hear some different guitars with it. It's an incredibly versatile amp, far versatile than what I'll probably even be able to showcase to you guys. But it's a cool amp. I highly recommend checking it out, especially if you're looking for a combo. And one final thing before we get to the tone section is that I was on the phone with Z the other day, and I asked him if I could record some of the conversation. So at the end of the video, and kind of scattered throughout, you've been hearing bits and pieces of this phone conversation, but I'll give you a larger chunk at the end of the video if you want to, you know, kind of hear how just kind of pumped up, you know, Z was about all this stuff, because it made me more excited about the amp. And I've had the amp, and I was excited about it, so it was cool. But anyways, here's the tones, and hope you all have a good rest of your day. Later, homies. I almost forgot to say goodbye to you. So thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Thanks to the guys at DR.Z for making such an awesome amp. Thanks to Sweetwater for sponsoring the video. I appreciate that. Check these out if you would. Man, at the end of the day, they're just a bunch of great people and a great company, so why would you not want to support them, man? They make great amps. So other than that, I'll see you all later. Hope you have a good rest of your day. Bye, homies. Woo! Okay.
But what I found was that these octal tubes, they put out such a huge output signal. I mean, they're really like output tubes. I mean, if you look at some stereos, 6 SL7s are used in pairs as output drivers on stereos. I mean, they're capable of that kind of power and bandwidth.
Wow.
Okay, so when I built the amp and then put the 6V6s as the output, man, it just saturated the 6V6s. The bottom end got flummy because there was such a strong